Her breathing was unstable due to the closeness she was facing. Everything was driving her crazy. Her efforts to back off went in vain as he was choking her wrist, almost cracking it. "What kind of a monster are you? Leave!" "Stop moving, or it will be a long night for us." Just why I came here. It would be good to let you suffer." "I can hear you very well, so think twice before opening your mouth." "Get your hands aside." Not letting her go, he pulled her hand again as her face got so close to his, making their nose collide. He was still having that devil look on his face, but there she was. My heart went crazy at that point, but it was not because I felt something for him. It's just the first time I have experienced such closeness. That new sensation all over my body was so new to me. "Looks like you are an innocent one." "Innocent? My foot." "Want me to be your first kiss?" "Okay, so now here we are. Hours ago you refused to do this, then what are you doing now?" "It's my wish. I can do whatever I want. But who are you?" She wanted to slap him right there if her hands were not under his. Giving up, she sighed deeply, and her eyes went towards the cabinet. There was a knife in the fruit bowl. She smirked, looking at it. "You are going to regret getting married to me." "That's what I should..." He winced in pain. Biting his hand, she swiftly grabbed the knife from the fruit bowl, making herself hover over him. She pointed the knife on his throat, digging it a little, but making sure to not hurt him. "I dare you to touch me again. I'm going to kill..." "So that's your real face." Foolish of her, thinking that she'll going to scare him by that. In a second he flipped her on the bed and got on top of her, while snatching the knife from her hand. "It's only him who sent you to kill me, right?" Yeah, it's not that. I was just Don't need to hide that." "Now tell me, where should I start?" Pointing the knife on her. "I'm telling you, I was just scaring you. I never hurt someone like you do. Believe me, I was here treating your wound, nothing more." "Stop being this loud." He clenched his jaw. "First move aside, let me go." "Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you now, but in the end." She frowned at his statement, but nonetheless she stood up from the bed as he backed off. She didn't move an inch and kept looking at him in silence. "You're still there." Her eyes widened. How? "Don't you ever test me. I can sense very well." "Move," he shouted. She shivered and left the room, glancing at his feet again. She didn't know why she still wanted to treat him. With these thoughts lingering in her mind, she went towards her room. This is not what I wanted. I always wished for a decent life. I never got in any dating stuff because I thought that I'll get the right one, and I have to wait for him. But what I just got. Dropping herself on the bed, she closed her eyes, but the only face that was roaming in her mind was his. Why? She slowly opened her eyes. Now why he's in my mind? Well, I'm sure that this is not love or anything like this. There's something that's just so damn wrong. Though he's a mafia, but still those wounds. Her thoughts didn't allow her to sleep in peace. She knew that it's not love, but she didn't know was that it was care for him. Whether it's just because of humanity or because she is his wife. Let's just sleep for now. God knows what will come tomorrow. Getting inside the blanket, she eventually fell into deep slumber. All the maids and guards were focused on their work. Though there were people present, but somewhere the sadness buried in that doghouse was making the surroundings empty. Between all that, there was someone on the couch, wearing that formal suit and pair of black shiny shoes, looking at his watch repeatedly. And that's when a figure was coming down the stairs. Hoping that it'll be a peaceful day, I freshened up and made my steps downstairs. My pace slowed up as I saw a not so familiar face. Shrugging my shoulders, I went near that person. Sorry to disturb you early in the morning, but I wanted to make sure that you are doing fine with my son. No, it's your house anyway. The dark tone echoed in the house. Both their gaze diverted towards the voice came from the stairs. The devil was there himself. She looked at him and eventually was uptight, concerned about him, hoping for him to not fall. Who the hell let him enter inside my house? Why he was talking like this? He's just as a mystery box. My gaze was on him, but out of the blue, there was something that shined through my eyes. Looking at that direction, a frown took over my face. Suspecting the floor carefully, I noticed that one step of the stair was plastered with the oil over it. That was making the light reflect directly to my eyes. Not aware of anything, he kept walking. Wait, there's oil. He tilted his head. I never gave you the permission to call me by my name. She looked at him disbelief. What the hell? This man? Not able to make him understand more, she went towards him, carefully skipping that step. She stood right in front of him, keeping her hand on his chest, making him stop right there. He frowned. Who the hell? No, shut your mouth. There's oil on the stairs. You'll fall. She scolded him. I don't know, but there was no anger at that time, even when she scolded me like that. Maybe that was the first time ever someone saved me from getting hurt. Who the hell did this? She shouted. Someone can fall really hard. These people. Just clean this mess. Though he was not able to see, but just hearing her was giving a unique calmness to his heart. Not so soon his brain won against his heart, and he came back to his normal self. Maintain your distance from... How stubborn you are, she sighed. Be careful, come here. How dare she cut me off every time. Before I could do anything, she clutched my hand in her and carefully took me down there. Why she's doing all this? I'm blessed having you as my daughter-in-law. He smiled proudly. It's nothing. Mind leaving my hand? He said in his cold voice. Looking at her hand engulfed with his large ones, without her knowing, she blushed and left his hand in a second. Everybody is here, so let's have breakfast. Leave before I kick you out myself, he said in his dark voice. How can you talk? It's enough. Don't you dare to interfere, he shouted. His voice echoed in the whole house, making everyone shiver on their spot. She was also there, looking fragile under his tall figure, feeling a little hurt by his words. You, leave from my house, he shouted like crazy. I was just here to check on her. Keep your excuses aside. And lastly, get out. His father looked at him last time and left before giving her a smile. She just bowed in respect and turned to look at him disbelief. Such cruel-hearted beast, she spatted in anger. Trying to sense where she was, he turned to opposite direction as she already left from there. An uneasy feeling was rising in him that he was not aware of. Lazily, she dropped herself on the bed while closing her eyes for some good minutes. Finally opening her eyes, she grabbed one of the pillow and threw that to the corner angrily. I'll surely kill him someday. What is this man? I feel bad for his dad. But what else can I do? Leave it. Her gaze was stuck on the ceiling, not until something grabbed her attention. Slowly making herself sat on the bed, she tilted her head in confusion. There's something that's not right. How that all came there out of a sudden? She shook her head. I'm thinking too much. And yes, why should I care for that stupid man? She rolled her eyes. Miss, please have your breakfast. What about him? Master is already there. She bowed and left. Strange. How come he's having the breakfast? Too hard to understand. She rolled her eyes. Jumping off the bed, she made her steps outside the room and directly went towards the dining. Reaching at the dining, I looked at him sitting there. His eyes were looking nowhere, but still those pair of eyes was enough to make everyone on their knees. Without making a single sound, I sat beside him. Looking at his face, I noticed that somewhere his lips was little pale. Frown took over my face. Now every little thing was making me curious. Miss, will you take the soup? He frowned. Are you here? No, Mr. Husband, it's not me. He turned his face as soon as he heard her voice beside him. Again that devil look was covering his face. Why? She sighed. Please, stop it for now. Have your breakfast and let me too. Spoon in my hand was tilted due to the force I put on it. She was getting on my nerves, but then why I can't just beat the out of her? What is exactly stopping me? Give me some soup. Yes, miss. Serving the hot soup to her, the maid went to him, taking the soup bowl in her hand. She was about to put the ladle full of soup in his bowl, but then that got poured on his hand. He shouted as she was shocked. Grabbing his hand, she opened the water jar and dipped his hand in it, taking him off guard.
Thanks for coming this long way. Hope you liked it. Love you.